Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cup of Joe show. Yep, that's it. Here we are, we've got a lot of great stuff today, the stuff that we always have. And you could look up everything on cupofjoe.com, so you could watch the show, you could read it. We do it all for you guys.
Were you expecting me to say something there?
No.
Okay,
No.
alright, good.
Mm-mm. I was expecting myself to be clever, which was the problem on my part. So, alright. So we're going to start with the movie that we last saw, which was Thor, The Dark World. Period. Go ahead, Jeremy. I've seen this movie twice.
That you have.
And I have reviewed it on cupofjoe.com.
Indeed.
Yes. So you start.
Okay, well, in short, I thought it was good. It wasn't as good as the first one. But, most of the good elements to the first Thor were present here again. Chris Hemsworth, again, is a really good Thor. And he went through most of his character development in the first film, so there wasn't much left to do in that regard. But, he's still good in the role, and it's hard to imagine anyone else at this point. And, Tom Hiddleston is perfect as Loki, and semi-spoiler warning, Loki doesn't play that big of a role until, halfway through the movie. But once he does, I felt like the movie picked up, because the interplay between Thor and Loki, and, Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, is just fantastic. And just all the bickering and Loki's sarcasm and everything, and that was nice. A criticism I might have is that the villain, the leader of the Dark Elves, Malekith, was extraordinarily generic. He had absolutely no character. He was just an evil dude who wanted to destroy everything. There's no development for him. He was just there. He was more of a plot device than a character. So that just kind of annoyed me, and he was really bland. But that's about it.
I agree with that, but before we get there, we picked up a new sponsor, Jif Peanut Butter.
Or Fidge.
Yeah, exactly.
As
it looks to us. But moms like you choose Jif. Choose Jif. We also have retained Gatorade. They're coming back for another week. But anyway, Gatorade. Is it in you? All right, good. We have now underwent our contractual obligations, and we could go on with the show. Okay, so I agree with you on the Malekith, since you went right out there and get there. I believe I put that in my review. If not, I definitely agree with it. I don't know if it was just because, they didn't develop it, and I think it also hurt that he didn't speak English. They had a language of their own, so
in contrast, I actually thought that was a nice touch, because why would this alien race speak English other than convenience for the audience's sake? You're
right, but I felt that in that you weren't able to connect with them because you're not like them in pretty much any way. But that would be my opinion. We differed! Oh my gosh, this is great. I have a feeling we'll differ on other things I'll say, actually, about this movie. So I agree with you. Chris Hemsworth is great. Tom Hiddleston is great. I think all the Asgardian characters are very good. I think I'm not sure about this, but I think the one guy in his group of friends was a different actor. Robin Hood, the guy they called Robin Hood in the first one. I think he was a different actor.
I don't know.
But everyone else they retained, and I thought they were all very good. Sif kind of stepped it up in this one. Let's start there. Sif versus Jane, the unnecessary conflict between, which female will Thor go to? Isn't it obvious that it's going to be Jane? So why even have I don't understand that. I don't understand why every movie now has to have a Team Edward and Jacob in it, just because, like Twilight happened, it's over, and that's a good thing. Let's stop bringing it back. So, again, right there, unnecessary conflict, I feel, although I don't understand it, because, Sif would obviously be the person for Thor. But
but
no, you go.
to be devil's advocate
Go.
here, I'm not necessarily agreeing with you because I think Jane is kind of a bland character.
Correct.
But it could be a bit of an opposites attract thing. Thor is like a burly, strong Asgardian warrior. So is Sif. Maybe Thor is looking more for I don't want to say meek, demure, maybe a nice demure, unassuming Earth chick. Against whom he could bounce off a little, so they're not exactly the same.
Yes, another sponsor is dictionary.com. Demure is the word we were told to use today. So yes, I do understand that, and I think that the reason I would say that Thor should get with Sif is what you said to begin. What you just said is that Jane is a very bland character, and I don't like her character at all. I don't know if it's Natalie Portman. I don't know if it's the writing for her. She is an uninteresting character, and I don't like her in this film. I think Natalie Portman feels out of place in that role. I don't understand it, and I honestly think, and you may disagree with it, I think many people may disagree with this, but Darcy is the most intriguing human character in the film, which is weird, because she's just supposed to be this, like, sideshow thing. She's just supposed to be there. But she's more intriguing than the main Natalie Portman character. And that's what I honestly believe that.
I can see that.
I could see her being annoying to people, and like, okay, haha, Darcy, shut up. But like, she's intriguing and she's funny. I think that she is the best human character in the film. And Stellan Skarsgård, who knows what he is going to be? What kind of person is he going to be entering any film? He entered the Thor franchise as this stable guy, stable scientist that's supposed to like bring everybody back down to Earth.
Well, I think what happened is that like Loki, ended up messing with his mind, so he wasn't stable after the whole Loki controlling him thing in the Avengers.
Right, but didn't you think that was kind of dumb?
I thought it was funny.
You thought it was funny? Okay. I thought it was kind of dumb. Yeah. Look at this. Disagreement. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. That means you have to go see it and say which one's right. So you could comment, you could do whatever you want. Would you like us on Facebook? Follow us on Twitter. Do whatever you do on Tumblr. And, you could comment on the blog website if you want. Tell us who do you think is right. Other than that, like I said, I think it was all around a very entertaining movie. It wasn't the greatest quality, but it was good enough. And it was definitely better than Iron Man 3. It's definitely the best post-Avengers movie so far.
Phase 2, as they're calling it.
Okay, there you go, Phase 2. So, stay for the credits. There's 2 scenes. Mid-credit scene and an end-credit scene. So stay and then Google, because I didn't know. But,
I had an extremely vague idea. I figured it had something to do with Guardians of the Galaxy when I first saw it. Oh, yes, spoiler warning. But, my bad.
Okay.
Well,
right.
I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But other than that, I really didn't know anything. I just know the Guardians of the Galaxy existed. I didn't know anything about any of the members or anything like that.
Right.
So.
Right. So, look it up, and I think I gave the movie 3.5 cups. I would definitely see it, but I wouldn't go into it thinking it's going to be great. It was very good, but it's not a higher tier Marvel movie. It is there and it is entertaining. That's my opinion. So, let's move on. How well did that do? How well did Thor the Dark World do, period? Tell us, Jeremy. Tell us.
Alright. Thor the Dark World opened to $85.7 million. And this is pretty much right in line with expectations. That was roughly the same percentage increase over the original Thor that Iron Man 3 had over Iron Man 2. But, since you're working with lower numbers, you think it might be easier to increased more, or the Thor brand had garnered more fans or something. But then again, you also might have to factor in that says Iron Man 3 was so disappointing. Maybe that honestly hurt Thor a little. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, I mean, it still went from 65 for the original Thor to 85 million. That's a big increase. And, it's a very solid opening. It should find its way, over 200 million.
I think that also Thor is definitely the less popular character. Although he's pretty big now, I would say.
Yeah, he's grown a lot.
Yeah, astronomically bigger to when that first Thor movie came out, and I think that no one really had any thoughts of it. But he'd definitely be lower tier to the Iron Man character that everyone really loves.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, on a little bit of a side note, I mean, part of the problem is that before Marvel got their own film studio and the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe together, they had already used up some characters and given them away to other movie studios so that those characters couldn't be in the Avengers. So they kind of had to, build up some of the less popular characters for the Avengers movie. Like, before the first Iron Man, I wouldn't quite have called him, top tier Marvel character. Like, a little bit below top tier, but now he is very much, a super popular character. And Thor was down there. Captain America wasn't that popular. Hawkeye, who was he? He still kind of gets the shaft, though.
That's
Hawkeye.
true.
I mean, seriously, Okay, so Incredible Hulk has gotten his own movie. Thor has 2. Captain America is going to have 2. Iron Man had 3. Black Widow was in Iron Man 2, and she's going to be in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Hawkeye was in 2 seconds of the first Thor and spent most of the Avengers under Loki's mind control. Really getting shafted. And I love Jeremy Renner. So, anyway, rant aside, let's move on with the box office. In the number 2 spot, we had Bad Grandpa, which made 11.3 million, was down 43%, total of 78.8. 100 million still a possibility there. Probably going to fall a little short. Number 3, Freebirds, 11.1 million, down 30%, just over 30 million in total. After its disappointing debut, it needed a good drop. I still don't think it's going to do very much. It might do pretty well over Thanksgiving, so we'll see if that can give it a boost. In 4th place, Las Vegas with 11 million even, down 32%, 33.5 million. I guess some older people don't really have anything else to do, so older people looking for some laughs, that is. So, I mean, hey, whatever. Maybe it's actually fairly funny. We haven't seen it.
We haven't seen it, no.
I shan't judge.
There was someone at the Louvre the other day who went through this really long story about her wanting and not wanting to see the film, and she said it really wasn't that great at the end of it, but it was unnecessarily long story, and I'm not going to tell it. But that's the only information I have on Las Vegas.
Fair enough. And then finally, in 5th place, we have Ender's Game, which made 10.3 million, crashed 62%, and has now pulled in 44 million. Looking at that, there's the very real possibility that Las Vegas might end up outgrossing Ender's Game.
Wow.
It happens.
That's just. I just don't think. I haven't seen Ender's Game, but I just don't think that's right. But anyway, there you have that. And did I say the Lube, or did I say the Quaker Steak and Lube?
You said the Lube.
The Quaker Steak and Lube. I don't want people getting wrong ideas about where we go. All right. The Quaker Steak and Lube. It's a bar/restaurant where we watch sports. Anyway.
Sponsor us.
Quaker Steak and Lube. I don't know they're saying, but they're coming. I think they're coming. And with that will come Perkins, and we're going to become a conglomerate. It's going to be awesome. All right, anyway. Gatorade. Upcoming movies. Or upcoming movie. I don't know. How many are there?
The only wide release this weekend is The Best Man Holiday, which is, I found out 2 days ago, is a sequel, actually. I had no idea.
I didn't know that either. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so the original came out, I think, 14 years ago, and was called Best Man, or The Best Man. I don't know.
Oh.
So, Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I
So.
think I heard of that.
Oh, look at that.
Maybe. I don't. I think.
Anyway, yeah, as far as I can tell, it brings most of the main cast back, and it's got some. It's very much. Well, I'll just be honest. It's very much a black person movie. I mean, may as well
Yes.
not mince words, or
No reason
or
not.
or as some other box office websites will say, it's an urban movie. But seriously, honestly, mostly black people are going to go see the movie, and but as has been shown time and time again, especially by Tyler Perry's Medea movies, or his other movies even actually lacking Medea, that it's a very niche market. But when you make a movie with primarily black actors that appeals to them, they'll show up, and they can do some surprising numbers. And, Best Man Holiday could do like 15 to 20 million, which is pretty solid.
Right, I got you. Again, it's a black comedy. I mean, if we go, the humor's going to fall short on us. We're white. I mean, there's no getting around that. So, I mean, so we're not gonna
No
see
need
this
to
movie.
be politically correct. Just
Yes, we did go to see Soul Men because we love Samuel L. Jackson, and we were the only white people there, and they everyone was dying, and I mean, and the jokes just fell short on us. Like I don't, it's.
I mean, it's just a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing.
If we went to go see like a Bollywood movie, we wouldn't get it.
Exactly. So it's just kind of is what it is, and my mom made this point the other day that she doesn't really see many black people at the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's true.
Is that like is that a thing, or is it just that like we live in Scranton?
Well, I mean, I think it's well, I mean, okay, living in Scranton is part of it. I'm sure if we went to, like New York City or Detroit or something,
right?
More. But I think part of it is that primarily, because the prevailing demographic is white people, and I think white males are, they go to the movies the most. Movies are going to be made for them. I mean, look at all the comic book movies, all the action movies, all the things like that. And then if you compare them to romantic comedies, which appeal mostly to women, romantic comedies can do well, but they never do as well. So
right.
I think it's just part of it is just studios making the movies that are going to make the most money for them. So they're going to want to make movies that appeal to the most likely demographic to spend their money, which is middle upper class white people.
White males, yep. Mm-hmm. No, I got you. So that's what's coming out. That's what we saw. That's how the box office did. What are you seeing for Thor? How do you think Thor is going to hold up this week?
I think it'll be fine this week. I mean, with comic book movies, especially sequels, there's always front loading. So it might dip down into 40, even upper 30s if the word of mouth isn't the greatest. So, but yeah, it should be fine. I mean, its only competition is the Best Man Holiday, and there's no audience overlap. Well, I mean, there's some audience overlap, but very little. So it's not gonna be hurt much by that. Next weekend, however, is getting crushed.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt.
Catching Fire.
That's your teaser. We'll be back next week. I don't know at what time. We will keep you posted as to we need to do this show another day because this guy got a full-time job.
Yay.
Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation in the city of Scranton. This guy.
I don't know what I'm
Full-time
doing
job.
yet exactly. I don't really know what my job's going to entail, but hey.
But it seems like it's going to be pretty cool, and I'm excited to hear about it. Maybe we'll even tell you about it if we could somehow try to keep these shows under 20 minutes. But we have not figured out how to do that yet, but I hope you guys enjoyed.
Well, we dressing up in costumes.
Right.
That's how to do it.
That's how to do it, yes, because we're dying in our costumes and we want to finish the show. But anyway, we hope you enjoyed. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, do whatever you do on Tumblr, and we'll see you next week. Remember, pick up some Jif. Moms like you, choose Jif. Choose Jif.